Yair is a startup founder, mentor, and also investor. Just recently, around a year ago, Yair founded a venture capital fund called BeyondBlack, where he invests in climate tech, but with a very calculated framework of what actually is an impact and what is climate tech. So, Yair, please tell us a little bit more about this. And
will do. Thanks, Dominic. Thanks everybody for joining me to this session. My name is Yair Reem. I would like to talk to you today about how the venture industry can design its actions so that investors and entrepreneurs have more impact or maximize the impact on climate change. Maybe I'll start with a few words on myself. I'm the co-founder of BeyondBlack. BeyondBlack is a venture fund that focuses or invests in breakthrough technology solutions that can mitigate climate change. With every investment that we're looking to, or every company we're looking at, we don't just look for a financial return, but we look for a significant reduction of greenhouse gases emissions, and our bar is 1% of annual global emissions, which I will come back to that later. I'm also a strategic narrative advisor, working with many business leaders and CEOs across the world on compelling storytelling and how to work with customers and investors. In my past, I was a manager of Hustle Planner Ventures, which is the venture fund of the founder of SAP. I have cybersecurity background and multiple continents. Let's start with a simple question. Many people ask me, why do you invest in breakthrough innovation technologies? I mean, if you look at the slide, and many people think that we've already have all the answers, right? I mean, we have wind, we have solar, we have the LED light, we have lithium-ion batteries, we also have electric vehicles. So basically, we're good, right? I mean, we just need more of that. But the problem is that people don't understand, or sometimes they forget, that if we had all of that, if we had 100% renewable power today, we wouldn't have the way to store it, because that's intermittent sources. So that's kind of a problem that we have, because we don't have the batteries, because the lithium-ion batteries are good for up to 4 hours, but we don't have a grid scale kind of a storage, and we don't have it at a competitive price point that people will use it. And the same goes across the entire chain. So if you look at all the sectors that emit greenhouse gases, like power, industry, transportation, urban, agriculture, in each one of them, there are a multitude of challenges that are still not solved today, and we need innovation in each one of them. And maybe I'll just name one or two. I just lost the presentation there, but I'll just say that, there he goes. So I just mentioned, in power, we need batteries, long-duration batteries. In mobility, we need fuel cells, right? I mean, we need something that is safe and is not expensive. In buildings, we need new insulation materials. In industry, well, everybody's talking about flying, but flying is 2% of global emissions. Cement production is 8%, right? Steel is 4% of global emissions. So we need much more innovation in order to replace those things. So where's the problem? The problem is that the venture industry, which is, and the companies that are being built, and the usual path of innovation from coming out of the lab, from the university or research institutions, where there is a lot of government grants and a lot of public money, they go up and become proven technologies like wind and solar. And when they become proven technologies, then there are a lot of banks, project finance, private equity that will finance them. But in between, the venture industry that is supposed to take them from the lab to the market is not investing them as it invests in other areas. And why is that? Because there is a misalignment today between the life cycle of companies that address climate change and other topics, as hard topics as well, and the life cycle of venture funds, right? Venture funds, after 5 years or 3 years, they want to raise another fund. and they need to show markups. So they're looking for stuff that is scaling fast rather than stuff that may be solving the problem but takes longer, which is usually the case in climate change, where we see it takes to companies to mature from coming out of the lab to maturity, maybe 8 to 10 years. So what does that mean? It means that we need to rewire, reprogram. We cannot, as Ludmila said before me, we cannot just do business as usual in the venture scene if we want to change, if we want to make an impact on climate change. So I would say the rule number one, if you're an investor or if you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking about where to invest or what to build, most important thing is that you focus on the hard things. And on the hard things, what is the measure that it is hard thing? It means that it's at scale making an impact of what I mentioned in the beginning of doing 1% reduction. That's kind of a measurement that tells you, hey, what I'm working on or what I'm investing in is really making a change. Because there are many things that are making a change. And small changes are important, but they're maybe not moving the needle. And we need big changes fast. So I would say, no matter what you're doing, work on the hard things. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, I would give you 3 advices how to design your actions to make an impact. One, think about resources. It's going to be a long, long way. As said, it may take you more than the usual 3 years for a software company to scale. Then think about the resources. Think about the money you're raising up front, dilutive capital, but also think about non-dilutive capital. Think about all the government grants that you need, like Horizon 2020 and the Horizon Europe that is going to follow, and all of these things. And I would say a good measurement or a rule of thumb, you should be able to achieve 1-to-1 kind of matching. So for every dilutive euro that you're taking, you should be able to take 1 euro non-dilutive capital. The other thing is build viable business model. I think that I've been around in the clean tech 1.0 era, and I think one of the problems that we've seen is that business models that were relying too much on feed-in tariffs, for example, on government money. But at one point, these disappeared, many things became cheaper, and those companies evaporated. So you should be building a viable business model even without feed-in tariffs. And the other aspect is that you have to compete with oil and gas prices. You cannot, if you're going to be more expensive than oil and gas, then, or the other non-sustainable solution, then it's going to be nice, going to be cute. Some people in Berlin are going to buy it, but the rest of the world is not going to adopt it. So you have to be competitive in order to be a real alternative. And the last thing is think about structure. Structure matters. And if your mission is sustainability, you may want to put that mission into your own contracts, into the shareholder agreement, into the article of association of the company, and say, hey, for example, we're not going to sell this company for oil and gas ever, etc., etc. Now, if you're an investor, then my advice would be, one, take more risk, right? Then don't do just the easy things. Don't do just the stuff that scale fast, like software. And I'm saying that as a previous software investor for many, many years. You have to think about the stuff that really matters. But the good thing here is, yes, they are CapEx heavy. Yes, there is hardware. But if you solve energy, this is a gigantic market. This is the kind of stuff that the investors really, really like. So the markets are huge. Then structure. Again, going back, you have to align your structure with the structure of the companies you invest in. So if your fund lifetime is 10 years and the companies are going to mature just within 10 years, then there is a misalignment. Then you're, by definition, as an investor, you're inclined to do the stuff that is fast rather than the stuff that takes longer. So now that you go to raise the next fund, go talk to your LPs, the limited partners, the endowments, the foundation, the sovereign wealth fund, explain them that and say, no, we have to go for a longer lifetime of our fund. And the last thing is the support. Yes, every VC has support for the portfolio. This is the famous value-add VC. But if you're investing in these areas, then you have to build additional capabilities. Like if we talk about getting government grants, then have someone on board that is helping your portfolio companies to file for those grants. And last but not least, government is playing a big role in climate change. So advocacy, policy, someone that understands where is the hydrogen market going, where is the hydrogen regulation going, plays a big role and matters a lot. So I urge you to have that on board. With that in mind, if you have any questions, please feel free to ping me anytime. I'd be happy to be in touch with you. Thanks a lot.
Yair, thank you very much.